Now, funny enough, I happened to see a post by Sim Siga earlier asking if Piccolo and Knuckles were black coded. And what's funny about it is I was thinking about touching up on this entire topic throughout DBZ. And I would say Knuckles is definitely. Knuckles has always given me Jamaican vibes. You know, his when he fucking has dreads. And no one but a West Indian would wear shoes that color. I don't give a fuck what you say. Um, but to me, Piccolo has always come off as more like a Native American type. Piccolo and the Namekians have always seemed more Native American to me. Like just in their roots, the way they live, the way they're presented, kind of stoic and earthy. You know, they live off the land, and then on top of that, they're recuperating from a great catastrophe, which a lot of uh, a lot of Native Americans they dealt with like a plague. Now I'm not too clear on the details of that. I've only heard a little bit on it, and I haven't researched it too much because I've never. It seems like it's just a grim topic, and I have enough grim topics in my head and YouTube feed. So I've actively avoided it. But on top of that, you know, almost losing their entire race, they then lose their land and have to relocate to a similar place, basically a settlement, a reservation, if you will. And, on top of that, they're dealing with the great colonizer, Frieza. And that's where we hit our next one. Um, Now, see, I saw someone once say, you know, Frieza equals Nazis. Yeah, I'm using that voice for people like that because they fucking irritate me, and that just sounds like the voice of an irritating person. Um, but the thing you gotta consider is, you see, the Nazis weren't like the first or the last people to do what they did. They're not like the only evil Europeans who started a war or anything. It's not like that specific, to be frank. Frieza is the colonizer, just the very concept of a colonizer. Doesn't have to be specific to regime or agenda or even race, even though he is white. I'm just I'm just saying. And let's run down what Frieza does exactly. He takes over, buys, and then sells planets. He will destroy people who do not fit his agenda, and he will keep any of the useful ones around, as we see with Zarbon and Vegeta and the gang and Nem, because that they were really just there out of convenience. He didn't care about Nappa or Raditz. Um, why would he? Right. So then you have that for Frieza, and then you have Earthlings. They're pretty generally Chinese. Well, I don't want to say Chinese, but like It's all pretty much Asian culture oriented. Now, the Earthlings, Earth has always clearly been pretty Chinese. Like, I don't see a lot of other culture. Well, I don't know. I guess like when you see Gohan going to school, it gets a little more Japanese when he's once he gets into the city. Like the school looks like a Japanese school. The cities, tech, tech, ah, the school, the city's advanced. The city's advanced. Um, the hell was I saying? But outside of the city, you pretty much have Chinese villages and Chinese themed places. Like even the Tenkaichi Budokai, like that whole arena is Chinese oriented. You know, this isn't really brought up a lot, but Goku uses kung fu pretty much, like, and that's why I didn't really trip. When they announced Dragon Ball Evolution, because I was just like, Goku's not even really human, so he can be a white guy. But the movie was shitty anyway. Like that was what I was focused on. I didn't really care that he was a white guy because I already knew that the movie itself was going to be shitty. But so then moving on from the colonizer Frieza, you then have the warrior race, which can encompass a number of peoples. You have a lot of warrior races out there, but just based on okay, so let's run down the facts. There's this white guy constantly calling them monkeys. He's destroyed their home, enslaved who's left. Um, just absolutely hates them. He absolutely hates them. Um, they love to fight, love to get rowdy. You have a clash of ideologies. You have one that works for the colonizer. Hmm. Well, several really, and then you have one who's free. Free. Um, Now I'm just looking at this. The one who works for the colonizers. From what I'm looking at, he is wearing the colors of the Golden Gate Warriors of San Francisco. Uh, the free the free warrior is wearing Knicks colors. So you know, there's that East Coast West Coast, that whole thing still going on to this day. Um, and then you boil it down to they just two of them left. There's just two left now. They meet for the first time, or really anytime. Anytime they meet, they got to fight. There's got to be conflict. There's got to be some kind of battle between them, between their ideologies, or even just a simple ass fist fight. Um, Now, on a broad spectrum, that sounds like what one would say the haves and the have-nots. Um, on a tighter scale, I would say we are talking about Uncle Tom's and niggas. And that's why I thought it was odd when someone tried to make the comparison that like Vegeta was saying that it was weird fucking comparison. But let me gather my thoughts because it didn't make a whole lot of sense, so I didn't really bother to remember it properly. And then, that's my fault. That's my fault. But basically saying that that Goku was like a raccoon type, and that Vegeta was the guy who was like the Hotep. And I thought that was weird because Vegeta is literally the guy who works for the colonizer, and Goku is literally the one who destroyed that guy. So I feel like maybe you don't understand the source material if you make that comparison, but Vegeta is basically Carlton Banks. Okay, that there it is. He's Carlton Banks.